Good morning. This is Dean Jenn. I'm coming to you from sunny Chicago from my office. It's a very quiet here at the law school, but I'm glad to be able to share with you some news about the law school and share with you some holiday greetings from all of us here from the DePaul Law family. So let me start with gratitude. I always like to start my talks with gratitude. And so there's lots of gratitude to go around, but particularly for our alumni. I know that you are far away physically, but you are not far away in spirit, and you've been helping our students and our grads in all sorts of different ways through the last 9 months. So I want to particularly thank our alumni board members, our volunteers, our mentors, our employers, and of course, our donors. I want to give a and as you all know, I say it's been a while, but I say our network is our superpower, and it surely is. And there are some real superheroes, our Avengers in the group. And so I want to give a special shout out to those folks. They are the leaders of our 4 main alumni boards that we've created in the last 5 years, and they've been doing an amazing job. So I want to acknowledge them personally and by name. So from the Dean's Advisory Council, the chair, Karina Ayala Bermejo, and the vice chair, Noel Brennan. And I also want to thank Michelle Jochner, who is the past chair of the DAC, who has done an amazing job really setting the foundation. So our transition, as it were, to COVID really was seamless in terms of the Dean's Advisory Council. So I thank her especially today. The Alumni Engagement Board is led very actively, even remotely, by George Lattis, Jay Stefani, and Genevieve Neiman. And they're going to be planning some activities in 2021. So please look out for those, and please join us virtually till we can get together in person. I also want to thank the chair of the Alumni Judges Committee, Justice Margaret Stanton McBride, who's putting together initiatives related to our judges, future law clerks, and future judges of our DePaul Law family. And last but not least, I want to give a shout out to Aurora Austriaco, who has been the chair of the task force that put together the diversity plan, which I'm going to mention to you in a bit, but also is chairing the Alumni Diversity Council, which has recently been reconfigured and has a dynamite group of folks that are leading that and helping us with our DEI effort. So a little bit more about that later. So thank you to all of you, and we couldn't do it without you. So I want to talk a little bit today about what I've been coining and what others have coined, the 3 pandemics that we've all been navigating through. So I want to tell you a little bit about how the College of Law has navigated through this time as we try to balance our attention to all 3 of those pandemics. And President-elect Biden calls it 4 pandemics, but climate change isn't quite one that we deal with directly at the law school. But the other 3 are really front of mind nationally and internationally and at the law school. So first and foremost, and what we work on a day-to-day basis is dealing with COVID-19 and all of its phases and all of its twists and turns. And so what we have done is we pivoted to online learning in about 5 days in the spring. We pivoted back to some hybrid learning in the most of the fall, and now we have pivoted back again to all online, and now all online take-home exams for the final exam period. And so what we tried to do is, as many schools and universities have done, is try to balance the need and the desire for some in-person instruction, particularly for our first-year students, and particularly for those students involved in clinics and other experiential learning, because there it is much more important to have some of that hands-on, person-to-person feedback and building of community. And so, so we were able to, in the fall, for example, for most of the fall, put our 1L classes in sections, coming in 1 day a week in pods. And so they were able to take a couple of their classes 1 day a week in person, and also then take the rest of their classes online. But we always offered all students the option of going going all remote, if they didn't feel comfortable coming to school, if they just wanted to stay maybe at home or somewhere else, they were able to do that. So we try to have maximum flexibility. And that's our plan going forward for the spring, is we hope to have about 20% of our 1L classes in person, about 10% of our upper class classes in person, but mostly focused on experiential learning. So we'll see how that goes. It's really up to COVID how it's going to cooperate with us, and whether restrictions are able to be lifted a little bit come January. We also had a hybrid orientation, and we have moved OCI to February. So all of that is a way to try to adapt, but also keep all of those milestones that we need to have to keep us moving forward, keep students moving forward, and keep us moving forward in getting our students into the legal profession and into wonderful jobs. What we also had to deal with, and this is outside of our control a little bit, is the Illinois bar exam went remote in October, and it is going to be remote in February. So we know for this past set of test takers who were kind of really going through it, that changed the dates and the mode, and now we have a better sense of what that remote exam looks like. And so our bar director, Jamie Klappich, is going to be working with our February bar takers to make sure that they really have the best instruction on how to manage that exam. You may also know that the LSAT is remote and is online now. So everything is moving. And one thing that we're trying to think about as we go through COVID-19 is not just managing through it and managing through a crisis, but also trying to think about what are we going to take away afterwards? What are some of the programs and courses and ways that we can be online and also take advantage of in person? So we're going to be working on all of that once COVID gets behind us a little bit. But one of the things that we also recognized in dealing with the pandemic is how great our student needs are, and how the disparities among our students and the needs, how great our student needs are in this pandemic. And so we have given our students emergency funds, we have given them additional technology, we have provided study spaces in the library and in the lounges throughout this time, and we've also enhanced our mental health support for our students, because as you know, as you're navigating this, your children are navigating this, this is a very stressful time in all sorts of dimensions, and we want to be there for our students in many different ways. And building community, of course, is challenging, and we're trying to continue to do that and think of creative ways to do that in the spring. The second pandemic is one that actually the pandemic itself, racial injustice has been here for centuries, but the cry for more justice and the cry for action in our communities has never been greater since the death of George Floyd and many other events that have been illuminated through the last 6 to 9 months. And so we already were in the mode of getting ready for that. We were building the foundation with the diversity plan that I mentioned to you before, but we really have had to kickstart a number of initiatives very, very quickly. And so we've been doing that with the help of all our community, our faculty, our staff, our students, and our alumni boards. So we have not only created a diversity council, we have also began conversations among the community. Some of you have attended them on issues of racial justice. We did policing and racial justice, we've done voting rights, COVID and racial disparities, and there will be more in the spring, and we hope that you will participate in those as well. We have also had trainings for our full-time faculty and staff. Very important for us to be thinking about how do we build systemic racism and other critical issues into the curriculum? How do we teach our faculty and our senior staff to talk about issues related to race and other very difficult issues? And we know having that discourse is really important to train students in as they go out into the legal profession. And so we've been doing some of that. We had mandatory workshops for our faculty and senior staff related to bringing systemic racism to the classroom, as well as race talk, which is how to have those difficult conversations and having a book reading and reflection on that. So more to come because we have more work to do. And last but certainly not least is what we're doing in terms of the call for racial justice is to really look carefully at our curriculum. Our curriculum committee is really looking at ways that we can systematically put that racial justice and other critical perspectives across the curriculum so that it really is responsive both to the needs of our nation, to our communities, and to our students who want to feel like they belong and everyone is included and part of the conversation. So again, stay tuned for that, and some of you will be providing feedback. Please fill out your surveys if you have them, because that will provide some useful feedback for us as well in guiding us in those changes. Third is the economy. The economy is one, as we know, is some sectors are doing all right, some sectors are not doing well at all. And I think it's really unclear how the pandemic is going to affect the economy in the short and the long term. So we are really focusing on making sure that we take care of our own here at DePaul, that we make sure that our students are getting great experiences, not just in the summertime that's coming up, and we'll be doing that, but most importantly for our recent graduates, that class of 2020 that's just passed the bar, they are going to be part of the profession by the end of the year. They are going to need jobs, and they don't have much of a runway to be able to get good paying jobs. And so we're going to be asking you to help us with that. But our Law Career Services office, headed by Shannon DeGennaro, is going to be working with each of those graduates, and that's a very high priority for us. And then another thing that in terms of building community, and one thing we want to do more of is make sure that we can mentor our students and mentor our recent grads in this virtual environment. It's a challenge for sure, and I know you're seeing it probably in your firms and your organizations, but we've got to do it. So we've got a new 1L mentoring program for students in affinity groups that are paired with some of our alumni, and we're also being active members and participants in the Chicago Bar Association mentoring program that one of our staff members, Katie Liss, launched last year along with the Chicago Bar Association, the Young Lawyers section. So we're trying to do that in a little bit more structured way, but any help that you can give us in mentoring our students and recent grads, much appreciated. So as we look to 2021, what do we see on the horizon, the shorter horizon and our North Stars? We always follow our North Stars. It's been exhausting to try to do that all at once, but it's so important that we keep our eye on not what's tomorrow and what's next week, but also what are the next 5 to 10 years going to look like for the law school, and how can we gain in reputation? How can we get back into the top 100 of law schools? And how can we continue to build strength in admissions, in the incoming class, in career placement, and in bar passage? We are keeping our eyes and our efforts on all of those issues, and that student trifecta. We really want to win that mightily in the next 3 to 5 years, and we're making progress in all of those areas. And of course, we want to gather together again as soon as possible. James Redmond and I are always looking for opportunities, and we will, whenever it's safe to do so, we will start getting together in smaller groups and larger groups. And I am so looking forward to seeing all of you. And in the meantime, we do want to provide some virtual programming for you. We're going to have some chats with alumni in different sectors. We're going to have some community conversations, and I really want you to be part of all of that and to join us during this time. There is also one important call to action that I want to end with today. We have a university-wide initiative called Now We Must, which is really a special way of asking, what can I do? What can you do? What can we do for our students now in this really important time? It's a critical time. I don't have to tell any of you that, but our students have great needs, and now is the time to step up. There is no different time. There is no better time. And our students, as we have looked at what they need scholarships and summer fellowships. They need to reduce their debt. They need to have opportunities to be able to get on their resume, to be able to launch their careers. They continue to need technology support. We still see students who are needing greater connectivity and a better laptop and ways that they can connect. And we're going to be in this probably another semester, hopefully not more than that, but their needs are great. And of course, our efforts in diversity, equity, and inclusion are needing of resources resources as well, everything from, fellowships to student support to programming. We're going to need efforts to really answer that call for justice. And last but not least, bar passage. We provide bar awards and other support for our students. Again, very, very needed for them to survive and to thrive during a time that they need to be focused on the bar. So if you give to Fund for Law this year, anytime during this year, your efforts will go towards those initiatives in the Now We Must campaign. If you give to Fund for Law, those dollars will go to those priorities. That is what I'm going to be giving those resources to this year. So be rest assured that they will go right to our students in the ways that they need the most. We have mental health initiatives as well are going to need our continued support. But if you don't, or if you want to, in addition to providing a donation to the Now We Must campaign, I also ask you to continue to be a volunteer, an ambassador. And if you know of a job, if you're hiring a young lawyer, if you need an intern, please let Law Career Services know. Please let any of us in the senior administration know, and we will get that communication to those who need it, because our students need those opportunities. We always pay it forward at DePaul Law, and we always take care of our own family. And I know that you will do that in the coming year. And so with that, I will end with a holiday greeting. I hope that you all have a safe, a healthy, a happy, and a hopeful season. However you spend it, we're all going to spend it different ways than we imagined. And I will see you in 2021. So bye-bye. Thank you very much. And I'm grateful for all of you. Bye-bye.